Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. This is not acting in any way, shape, or form, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this fucking shit truly is exhausting. This shit truly is exhausting. To have to, you go to work all day, and then like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever the fuck. Oh wait, 2:10. That's the last time it was updated. You think you're gonna read something interesting, and like maybe they'll finally fix something, and no. This, if anything, is the most laughable set of changes that the game has had in quite some time. This is laughable. This like if you truly think MMR is still in the game, I implore you to go look back at some of the past updates where MMR was there. And it's night and fucking day. This right here is fucking rank-based matchmaking updates all over again. This is worthless. This is fucking worthless, if I can just say anything right out the get-go. This shit is horrible. It's like, and it's not even like so fucking bad where it's like, oh, this is an apocalyptic collapse on the game itself. This is some update that's gonna break the fucking game and change the landscape. No, this is nothing. This is nothing, and that's the worst thing about it. I don't know if anyone has played Killer recently against anybody that's even remotely good. That the game needs serious help on the Killer side right now. Serious help. Serious help. A lot of gen control isn't working. A lot of the chase perks are worthless. The only thing that's remotely good right now is endgame. The only build in the game that works right now is Rancor, Remember Me, No Way Out, and Game Afoot. That's the only build in the game that remotely fucking works right now. The other shit can always work if they're trash, but again, I hate this balance around trash. We're back to balancing around trash again. Like, and again, if you were to go look back at any update when Patrick was in the company, it is objectively better. Perks were better. Look at the fucking perks that you've been getting in this, like, you've been getting shit. Shit, bro. Even perks that are kind of usable really aren't good. Like, all the Vecna shit, really not that good. Again, Weave Attunement is just annoying. It's not even good. Like, this all isn't good, bro. And you're gonna see one common theme here as we kind of get to go through it. So, what did they actually do? Like, Rosie, just show us the update, man. Stop giving us this introduction, man. Okay, man. Okay, I'll do it. What do we got? So, here comes 8.20. Let's see what we're doing. We're going to start with the fucking Dredge. This is going to be, their words, a minor update. So, they're giving Dredge something. Dredge has kind of been overlooked. Is this his first set of changes? I think this is his first set of changes, is it not? He's kind of been left alone, which is, he was putting the game at an okay spot, but power creeps kind of hit him, and he's kind of been falling. There's no reason to play him when Sadako exists. Just, like, Samara is really better than him in every way. And but anyway, so what are they actually doing to him? Increase movement speed while charging, Reign of Darkness to 3.8, 3.68. You're still slower than a survivor. That doesn't really help you, especially since you're going to be teleporting 99% of the time. That's worthless. Change. Increase teleport speed outside of Nightfall to 19 meters per second, was 12. That's a good change. Reduce teleport time teleport cooldown outside of Nightfall to 10, was 12. Decrease time to break out of a locker to 2.25, was 3. That might help you. Increase charge rate of Nightfall meter to 1 charge per second per injured survivor, was 0.75. Reduce volume of sound effects to make it harder to detect, and adjusted several add-ons. Okay. Some Nest tab add-ons in the base kit, then tone them down accordingly. That sentence right there is a buff that you hate reading. Incorporated effects of base kit effects of add-ons into base kit, and then tone down the add-ons. I wish they would just fucking tell you what those are, but maybe it's supposed to be this. But Like the injured survivor add-on, like the skull that I kind of run. I suppose that's kind of what it is. But they're giving you some shit here. The buff that I feel like is going to be the most impactful one for him is the increased teleport speed outside of Nightfall to 19 meters, was 12, because that's something the character it struggles with. His teleports are slower than fucking shit. The only time he feels kind of remotely worth something is when Nightfall is in play. So, like, hopefully that change right there will make him more effective when Nightfall is not in play. Because when you play him, it is painfully obvious that he needs help when he's not in Nightfall. And so these changes are hopefully a start to actually doing something for him there. You kind of wish that cooldown was maybe 8 seconds instead of 10. But that's kind of being, I guess, a little bit picky. Because 2 seconds ain't going to be too much of a reduction. But you kind of wish that said 8 instead of 10. But this is at least a start. And again, you are getting the 19 up from 12. That is significant. Hopefully, when you're nearby a locker, that can kind of help you as well. And then, the decreased breakout time out of a locker. I think in Nightfall, he should just smash through that shit. In Nightfall, he should completely ignore locks on lockers and just smash through them. If you would like to, you can say that those locks are still on the lockers. I don't fucking know. Just to, like, he didn't break them yet. But during Nightfall, he should be immune. This also doesn't fix the locker dependency that he has. If maps just don't have a lot of lockers, then this boy can't really do much. Especially lockers near gens. His map control can be seriously impacted by the shit that is around the board. So, like the lockers that are around the board. So, if you just don't have a lot of lockers around the board, on certain maps, you're just not going to be able to control very sufficient gens. So, this really isn't going to fix his mid-game problem that he has on the maps he's bad at. But it's at least something, and you can't really fix that unless you, like, makes it so when he comes in, there's more lockers on the map inherently. Which is, that's kind of the big change he really needs, if to tell you the truth. But this is at least a start for him, so I don't hate it. They're hitting some of the things that need hit there. So, Doctor, this is the most interesting one for me, because if you follow my streams, you will know that I have been saying that this is a change he's needed for a long time. They are reducing the static blast cooldown, something I said that they really needed to do. 60 seconds, I believe, is what it is right now. That is fucking insane. That is a ridiculous cooldown for this ability. There are a lot of times on Doctor, particularly after a hook, where you are just going, I wish Static Blast was off cooldown right now, because I don't have a play yet, and I have to wait 15 seconds for my next play, which that reduces his overall flow, overall consistency, everything about him. And so, like he has been dying for a Static Blast adjustment, and they hit it. They did something that they really needed to do for him. And the best part is, it's not an add-on. Reduce Static Blast cooldown to 30 seconds if no survivors are in range. Reduce Static Blast cooldown to 45 seconds if a survivor is in range. So still a 15-second reduction if you're playing well in ranges. But if you're just patrolling and you're not camping a hook or whatever, that can potentially speed up that cooldown even quicker to always ensure that your shit is off cooldown so you have another play ready to go. So that's something that will hopefully improve his flow. Again, especially after a hook and you're at that dead point with the character, just waiting for that fucking shit to get off cooldown so you can do your next play. Especially as you get injures and tier 3s on the board, you can Static Blast and find a guy that you can go find, and that can you can get some chain plays together and get going a little, especially in the mid game again, where your character can really struggle to flow. So those two changes really good. Increased movement speed while charging Static Blast to 2.99 was 1.16. I mean, it should make him smoother, but it doesn't really help. I guess if it makes Static Blasting and Chase not as horrible for you. But, if you're chasing somebody that you don't really need to be chasing, you can launch a static blast to see if there's a more alluring target without completely dropping chase on the guy. So that's something there, and you could potentially even like position yourself for better zoning, maybe. I don't know, I'm just trying to spitball what you could do with that extra speed, because again, that is a significant buff. 1.16 to 299, that is a significant change on the character. So there might be some niche utility there, but overall it's this cooldown change that the character is salivating over. However, again, the character's biggest problem is that well, they did incorporate some of the effects of the range and the add-ons that make your power actually hit faster into his base kit. However, not enough to actually delete those 2 add-ons. There's no reason for Doctor to give up those add-ons because there's nothing in his kit that's better. What he needs is an add-on pass. What he needs is an add-on pass because of that. That green honestly should just be base at this point. Like, that's just, because as long as that green is in the game without a direct nerf, nothing will ever be better than it because of its camping utility. Because of the way he can camp with it. That is why it will never be ousted as long as it's there. They should just make it base and then give him an add-on pass. But that being said, that's not what they're going to do, so whatever. But anyway, but again, that change of the removing the static blast cooldown is at least a decent start. And again, if you're good with this character, you have that add-on on every single game anyway, so it's basically base kit. So there you go, Doctor. That's something for you. Nemesis. I have been advocating for this character to be buffed forever, for months, almost border on a year now. I think I have been advocating for this character to get a fucking buff. Nemesis is fucking terrible right now, especially on console, and especially if they know what they're doing. That being said, this don't impress me much. Requirement for reaching mutation rate 2 has been reduced to 5, was 6. You really wish that said 4? I think it takes 6 zombies to get into tier 2 with no add-ons, right? Is that correct? I believe so. So now it'll take 5. Big whoop. That doesn't help you. Like, that doesn't help you. My question is, what major interaction does this change early game? Does it make it so if you hit a survivor, you only need 1 more zombie with a tier? Can you hit 1 zombie, 1 survivor immediately in tier 2? Because I thought you could do that anyway. Like, what? Again, this might be a question you might have to wait till PTB to actually see. What interaction does this change besides making it take 1 less zombie? What does this do for him? What combination of add-ons can he use to get out of tier 1 significantly faster now? Next, they increased the hindered penalty duration of infecting a survivor to 2 seconds, was 0.25. So they basically gave him a hindered penalty, which, I mean, like, because again, he didn't really have one before. So now that he kind of does, it lasts throughout the entire speed boost that they say down here, which is true, reducing the amount of distance they gain overall. So because the problem with Nemesis is infecting somebody, especially on console, feels like a horrendous waste of your time and resources. Because you get them this horrendous speed boost, and like, you prioritize an infection over a health state. The only time that's really worth it is if they're at a pallet. Because you need those health states with this non-lethal character. You need that health state. And they adjusted some of the add-ons accordingly, or whatever the fuck. This effectively means... So they kind of say what their idea is here. This effectively means that the Nemesis can reach mutation rate 2 in his first 3 tentacle strikes on a single survivor. Like, that is garbage. Does anybody remember when the character came out and everyone was going, hey, M2 into M2 into M2 isn't viable? Does anybody remember that? Yeah. So if that's truly the only interaction change that this buff does, that doesn't help the character at all. The character needs a reworked tiering system. He should start the match in tier 2 with the ability to break pallets, and then the tier 2 should be the range increase, and then the tier 3 should make it so that the vials do nothing. That the infection and the health state is married when he hits tier 3. When he hits tier 3, a tentacle strike will injure and infect a healthy survivor. And you can even make getting to tier 3 take more time to compensate. Or you can give him the range and make it so he only has to get to tier 2 instead of a tier 3. You could just make it all on one system. Like something like that. You could just make it so he starts the match in tier 1 with the ability to break pallets, and you can give him that 2.22 extra meters, give or take. But and just make him spend his entire match having to tier up, but let him keep the pallet breaking. That's what he desperately needs. The way to increase this character, at least lethality, is let him start the match with that pallet zoning. That is the best thing, and again, he still has unmatched pallet breaking speed in the game. Let him use that. That's one of his unique traits. Let him use that ASAP. Tier 1 as a concept on Nemesis and on Michael Myers, man! If we're really still thinking about buffing Myers, the concept of tier 1s is outdated. Where the killers drop in and they're fucking worthless trash. That is an outdated concept and needs to go. Nemesis should start the match in tier 2 with the ability to break pallets. That is the buff he needs. He also needs hug tech. Not hug tech. He also needs a crouch tech fucking patched. That's another thing he needs. Like, for him to just, like, that's another thing that makes his power especially worthless, is when he just launches it out and they crouch and he breaks the pallet and gets nothing. It's trash. Patch it. So, that being said, if this is the only thing that this buff does for him, he's still going to be terrible. So, very not impressed with that. I, as a Nemesis connoisseur, I play him a lot more than most of the roster. As a Nemesis player, that doesn't help him very much. And he needs more than that. And, ladies and gentlemen, I just read off every killer buff for the chapter. Every single one. That's all you get. And, look where we are, by the way. Look where we are. The rest of this is all licking their ass. I don't even want to read it to you. I really don't. The rest of this is all survivor buffs. There's not one nerf here. Every single thing is a survivor buff or a killer nerf. You don't get one new perk to play with. They get like 10. You get none. Have fun with your 3 characters that are still going to be bad though. Like, are we serious behavior? Do you as a killer player feel like your concerns about the current state of the game were validated? Do you feel like your concerns about the direction the game is going were acknowledged here? Now, so what'd they give them? Blast Mine! That's the... You already know how I feel about this autism. How do you think I feel if they're fucking buffing it? Reduced activation requirement to 40% generator repairs. This is a bully perk that they are buffing. They are buffing a bully perk that is bad and doesn't do anything. It is annoying and doesn't do anything. Does this make it, they even acknowledge, does this make it practical? No. But let's be honest, that's not why you're using Blast Mine. They acknowledge that 1, the perk sucks, like I've always said, the perk sucks. 2, that they don't care it sucks, and that it's still gonna suck after this change goes in. And 3, that the only reason people use it is to bully the killer. And they are buffing it to encourage its usage. But not so easy that it becomes annoying to face. Are you fucking kidding me? If I get hit by this perk 3 times in one night, that's a good night for me. I see this perk every fucking time I boot the game up. And every time I see it, it makes me want to die of cringe. Again, it annoys me that people, like, use it. Like, because they think they're getting you, and they think they're good when they use it. It's annoying. This idea is inherently fucking annoying. Its buff was a mistake. Its initial buff was a mistake. From like 80 down to 50, that was a mistake. And they are doubling down on that mistake. It's 2 times easier to activate than it was when it launched. And it's autistic. They only... Done! Oh, got him! And you as the killer player are just... like, dying of cringe. When you use Blast Mine on the killer cringes. That is what we do. Because it is an embarrassing use of a slot that embarrasses you as a player. And you go... really outplayed the killer. Like, ridiculous, bro. As you can see, but it becomes annoying to face. This perk is annoying. If I see this perk one time, my match is ruined. Like, my experience playing the game goes down. Like, why is it so annoying on the killer side? Because it's like someone took the controller from you for 4 seconds and then gave it back to you. Remember when survivors were complaining about the old eruption, about how they couldn't touch a gen after it went off, right? Because, like, why were they incapacitated? Like, what? They couldn't touch a gen, remember? Did it, like, get blocked? I can't remember why they couldn't touch it. They couldn't touch a generator from eruption, remember? And that had to be changed. And they were like, because it's like somebody took the controller from me and I can't do anything for the next. That's this perk. It's not as long, admittedly, but it's like killer is about flow. Killer is about being able to have a consistent, smooth flow, moving around the board, having a play here and a play here, chaining your plays together, creating a smooth, fluid movement. This is true on top and bottom tiers. The top tiers can just, right? The low tiers have to do this, while the top tiers go. But so like when you as a killer hit a roadblock to that momentum, even if that roadblock is 5 seconds, that is inherently annoying. And again, this perk is still bad. Like, it's bad. Stop using it. It's bad and does nothing for you other than like, terrible. I hate this perk with a passion. I hate this perk more than like half the perks in the game that it's better than. That it's worse than. It's just annoying, and it should go back up to 80%, to tell you the truth, to disencourage its usage. Further proving that the devs have this game ass backwards. Wiretap, same thing. You can notice an annoying trend here, and yes. And the answer to the question you're thinking there is yes, and we'll get to it. Wiretap is now 40, down from 50. That perk doesn't annoy me because I don't see it. Like, if you're seeing it, you're not getting annoyed by it. Chemical Trap, activation requirement to 20, down from 50. Reduce the trap duration to 60 from 120. So they're making it twice as easy to get, but also getting rid of the 2 minutes that it's on a pallet for. But it's like, this is nothing but a buff. Like, what killer is leaving the pallet up that gets hit by that? The top tiers. But like, is Freddy Krueger gonna leave that pallet up? Get fucking real. Whenever that trap goes on it, he's kicking that pallet. Especially if he has game control. If he has game control, he's just gonna go ahead and kick it. If he doesn't have game control, but like, maybe if he has like play with your food stacks and a coup de grace token left, then maybe he doesn't have to kick it. But I don't know. I wouldn't have buffed this thing. Why is half a gen a bad thing? Half a gen for 2 minutes. Why bother tweaking that? As soon as that perk, if somebody drops that shit on you at like Shack Pallet, the chase is over. Like, that perk's already alright. I don't understand why they had to buff that. Mirrored Illusion. I cast the Mirrored Illusion spell. With the mirror, I have to roll a D16 or higher, and my Mirrored Illusion kicks in. Dungeons and Dragons! Fuck this fucking perk. Reduce the activation to 20, was 50. Reduce the duration to 60, was 120. Same buff as Chemical Trap. I could see it being better on Mirrored Illusion than a Chemical Trap. I don't think those two perks occupy a comparable niche. One's a chase perk, one's a waste the killer's time in a 4v1 situation thing. I think because Chemical Trap impacts the most important part of the killer's game, his execution and the chase, that requires a steeper activation time on the gen than 20%. The 4v1, slight inconvenience in the 4v1, with more counterplay based on the killer's power and individual tracking, that could have a 20% generator activation. It wouldn't be as big of a deal. So again, Buff, 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 buff. Where's my buff? Just a quick question. Oh, this shit? My 3 worthless characters that are still going to be quite worthless? That's my buff? You can play as the Doctor. Yeah. I'm sure this is going to have Doctor skyrocketing up the usage rate charts. Embarrassing. And if your argument is, well, this isn't going to impact the survivors shit either, then why are we doing this? This is a whole bunch of nothing, as I said at the top of the fucking video. Whole bunch of nothing going on here. This update, again, is objectively worthless. If they're doing nothing. Dance with me. Reduce the cooldown to 20 seconds was 40. I would have went with 30 myself. Dance with me is already an underrated perk, so I mean, this buff isn't going to make it broken. It's just like, respect that it's already okay. Make it 40, 35, 30. Why don't you err on the side of caution, bitch? Deception. 20-second cooldown. Who cares? Just be good. Diversion. Reduce the activation requirement to 20 seconds was 30. Not going to be a big deal. There it is. Flashbang. Reduce the activation requirement to 40% down from 50. You know that shit you don't have counterplay for? You have no counterplay to this perk. 0. If you pick up a survivor and they put it down, you're up shit creek with no paddle. No matter what direction you're facing, no matter how much your face is humping that wall, you get blinded by this. There is nothing that you can do. But Rosie, just don't pick the guy up, man. So you're telling me after every down I'm supposed to fucking where is the, maybe the survivor will have flashbang. Maybe I have to, but like that's such a ginormous waste of my time as the killer to check. And then again, you might not even find the guy. Like it might just be a fucking blendette on fucking McMillan, and you have no real hope in hell of seeing them because they put Iron Will back in the game. So Iron Will flashbang is something they can do now, even when they're injured. because survivor perks get reverted, but not one killer perk has been reverted. And they still have the balls to tell you that they devs favor you. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This perk definitely should be at least 80% on a gen. By the nature and the game-changing, absolutely game-changing effect of saving one guy. One save can change a game. And if you don't understand that, you're not good. Downing and hooking a survivor that is good is the hardest thing for killer to do. And again, not like the caveat of something that is bad design is if Freddy Krueger gets flashbanged, that is horrible for him. If Nurse Blight and Spirit get flashbanged, they laugh at it and down the guy again in 2 seconds. If something is laughed at by Nurse Blight and Spirit, but Freddy Krueger and Ghostface want to kill themselves when it happens to them, that thing is bad design. It makes the top tiers better and the low tiers worse. You should not see this shit more than twice a game at most. At most. Flashbang, you should give some counterplay. There should be some counterplay to this perk. If the killer hits the survivor holding one, it's dropped. And the killer can destroy it. If you want to make it 40%. If you want to make them just grow on trees, they shouldn't have unlimited, no counterplay, besides, oh, I'm just gonna frolic about and pray to God I find somebody that has it. Sometimes a bad survivor will be obvious when they have it. Good Swifts, though, there's nothing you can do to stop yourself from getting flashbanged if they have the right position. Which, again, behind the use of these things called comms, they'll always have. Get down right here, bro. I got you. I got sprint burst. I got you. Bullshit. I got sprint burst, bro. I got you. Don't worry. Just get down right there. I'll flashbang him. He has no idea I'm here. And I have an exhaustion perk, so I have an increased distance of how long I can get you from. It's ridiculous. This perk should not have been buffed at all. This perk was the biggest mistake from lowering that down from 80%. Ridiculous. Buff, 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 buff. No, okay, well, yes, Nemesis was buffed, but it was nothing. They got one perk buff, 2 perk buffs, 1 buff, 2 buff, 3 buff, 4 buff, 5 buff, 6 buff, 7 buff, 8 buff. They got 8 buffs. They got 8 perk buffs. You didn't get 1. In a state of the game as killer where your perk loadouts are more limited than ever. The amount of perks that are good in this game right now are more limited than ever. When you could hope, when you are praying that they will drop something usable on you, you get nothing. And you still want to tell me that MMR is in the game. When MMR came out, we got 40 fucking perk reworks, all of them meta relevant. And both sides were accounted for. Killer is getting vastly neglected here. Again, if you would like to say, well, you got 3 killer updates. Number 1, again, they're not good. Number 2, okay, give me 2 or 3 perk buffs. Why do you get 8 and we get 0? And again, you will still be told that you're the side that's favored. After all of this counter evidence, all of this counter evidence that you can bring to the table, it doesn't matter. You're still the side that gets favored. And we're not done yet. We haven't gotten to your fucking camping nerf. Yeah, they're nerfing camping again. Bitch meter wasn't enough. You adapted too well, dumbass. Getting nerfed again. Prestige update. Who cares? Prestige up levels are no longer shown in the pregame lobby. Shouldn't have never been shown in the first place. Hook stages. Here's your nerf. Increased duration of hook phases to 70 was 60. Some time ago, the total repair time of gens was increased, so for the most part, this was a positive change. It had the side effect of making camping more effective. No! Camping is dead right now. Camping a survivor is dead because of bitch meter. Bitch meter killed it. The only time camping is good is when the assholes are bad and neglect the save. That's the only time you can come back and secure a second stage. When they play bad. When they misplay. Survivors aren't able to get as much done before Hook Survivor's sacked. To combat this, increasing the duration of Hook phase to 70 seconds. So technically, killers, this isn't the worst nerf in the entire world. It will just kind of mirror what it was back in the day. But again, it's in combination with bitch meter. That's what they're not accounting for. Bitch meter is still in the game. Camping is trash. Camping is terrible right now. Camping's shit. The only way camping is good is if you can know where that everybody is and know that, like, you're not filling bitch meter up when you do so. Camping is shit. Who is this going to help the most? Mid-level survivor. Because again, high level doesn't need this. They're fucking kicking your ass with or without this. So they don't care. It's going to affect those mid-level players. Mid-levels and duos and maybe even some 3-mans that have like a solo weak link. That's who this is going to help the most. But this is a fucking nerf for you. Like, that part of the game where it's like you're just kind of sitting there proxying because you don't really have a smooth play. Like they've neglected the rescue for like 40 seconds and you're kind of proxying because somebody has to fucking be there, right? It just like that point where you're just standing there waiting for the second stage to kind of kick in before you go out and start being more aggro with your patrol again. They're increasing that time. I call it dead time in my head. Dead time on killer. Where you're kind of waiting for something to happen. They're just making you sit in La La Land for another 10 seconds. Why? Why? And again, you're getting nothing to compensate. Why have a stupid survivors get 10 extra seconds? How about this? How about we are increasing the time of hook stages to 70 seconds in the base kit. However, if you leave killers, if you leave that hook, it drastic go down. Scott Steiner math. It should be halved. If you leave 16 meters of the hook, if bitch meter is not filling up, their time should be reduced on the hook to 45 seconds a hook stage. In Identity 5, a survivor is dead in a minute. They don't go to the second stage on the rocket chair. They're dead. D-E-A-D, dead. They, you know, Identity 5 works with the rocket chair. They're dead after 60 seconds. And by the way, that makes matches go faster. It makes the game significantly less boring and more fun. Because you're not sitting there camping as much. Camping's the meta, and nobody bitches over there. This is stupid. This is a stupid change. And again, it's not even going to help the high-level players because they are already beating you. It's not going to help the low-level players because they fucking blow dick. It's going to help the mid-level players more than anybody else. And again, those are the players that you're going to be playing the most, hopefully. Because in this MMR, it's not MMR. I'm just calling it Rank 2.0 at this point. After this patch right here, that system in the game right now is rank-based matchmaking 2.0. It's rank-based matchmaking in a different coat of paint. And these worthless changes prove it. Again, go back to an MMR update and read it. And marvel at how much better it was. Go back to watch one of my videos about an MMR update. And marvel at how much better that was. Scratch marks. Oh, here's your buff, guys. Improve scratch mark visibility. Scratch marks are an important tool that can be hard to see on some surfaces. We reviewed each map to ensure that they're adequately visible. Survivors are laughingly calling this a buff for killer. It's really just a quality of life change that, like, if you're good, you don't need. And honestly, with things like Predator being shunned by the killer community for making the game more confusing, I am concerned this is going to be kind of a nerf, in all honesty. With most killers actively shunning Predator, saying it makes tracking survivors a little bit more difficult because of the layout of the scratch marks is more confusing. This might be a nerf. The more you think about it. Now again, is it gonna be a nerf? Unlikely. Is it gonna, survivors are laughingly calling this one fucking buff a make-up for all of the horrendous neglect you were given here? This is terrible and doesn't help you. If you're good, you don't need this at all. Midwich. They're gutting Midwich. And then for your last thing, they're gutting Midwich. Remove breakable walls in the bathrooms. Who cares? Alter the layout of the hallways to reduce long-range visibility. There's your killer nerf right there. Added objects in your exit gates to reduce visibility. There's your killer nerfs right there. The hallways used to have long sight lines, making it easy to spot approaching killers and difficult for survivors to hide. We have moved some objects around to limit visibility in the hallways. I'm going to assume that P-Nitus just can't write, and that's what that is. We've also added object obstructing the view of the exit gates to make it harder to stand in the center of the map and monitor both gates at once, because you, killer, just can't have fucking anything. You can't have fucking anything. So, this map is pretty much dead. The ability for Shitslinger to have basically guaranteed hell states in the hallways is gone. Bitch Boy and Huntress, them getting hell states in the hallways is gone. Ghostface's ability to just fucking build up his stock meter very quickly in the hallways is gone. You can just go on and on about who this nerfs, and they make it sound like the best part about it is they try to gaslight you here by making it sound like it was done with both sides in mind. No, this hurts killer significantly. All this does is help Survivor, and that was their intention when it was penned. Midwich is one of Killer's strongest maps right now, and especially was pre-bitch meter. I dropped it from my repertoire. I don't play on it anymore because I think the map is significantly worse now that bitch meter is in the game. Because of the map's layout, A bit. If you pick a bad hook, your next play can be really limited, and you can find yourself in that dead time that we discussed earlier much sooner and for longer. And I hate that killer's flow at Midwich is really bad because of the nature of the map's layout. It was only a killer map because of how good camping was, but since Bitch Meter killed it, I dropped it from my repertoire. But like killers like Ghostface and Myers and Huntress and Shitslinger, like these killers that like having line of sight, they could still play on it. And this was done to nerf those killers specifically. And again, spot approaching killers, you have a fucking ginormous red stain, bro. They're gonna see your bitch ass. I promise they're gonna see you. You're also much bigger than them. Your model and animation is much bigger. They will spot you, no matter what no matter what object they put in the hallway. They will spot you. You aren't gonna see them. So, Midwich is dead. So there you go, boys. There's the update. Another laughable set of changes. If you think MMR is responsible for this pig slop, this vomit, go back and read an actual MMR update. This is vomit. This is diarrhea. This is so fucking shit, bro. It's worthless. It's worthless. From inadequate killer buffs that aren't going to actually fix the issues that are on those killers. Again, Dredge needs values increased and more lockers on the maps. Doctor needs a range add-on base and an add-on pass. And Nemesis is going to need a lot more than 5. You really wish that said 4. Or, anything else. Starting the match in tier 2. He didn't get or anything. Like, these killers are still going to be laughingly shit. The survivors generator of related perks are going to be much more usable, and the anti-camp shit is going to continue to make playing killer less flow and less fun, and the scratch marks aren't going to do jack shit for you, and Midwich is a dead map if it wasn't enough already. And MMR is not responsible for this. Rank-based matchmaking 2 is responsible for this. If you've learned anything today, it's that MMR is dead. I've been saying that since Patrick walked out the door. Again, Patrick was not fired, he walked out the door. And as soon as the door closed behind him, he took his MMR system with him. Because what's in the game right now is not skill-based matchmaking. I repeat, it is not skill-based matchmaking. They may call it whatever they want to call it. It is not skill-based matchmaking. What is in this game right now does not give them good stats to work off of to create balance changes, which was the entire point. And it's in the proof. The J-Man always used to say, the proof is in the gameplay. The proof is in the updates. The MMR didn't give you this shit. MMR gave you things like Pain Resonance, Deadlock, and Call of Brine. That's what MMR gave you. The OG 200% Call of Brine. Rank-based matchmaking gives you constant survivor buffs, laughable killer changes, and nerfs. That's what a rank-based matchmaking gives you. And that's what you got. Trash. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's. Can't wait to play Dead by Daylight because they just think it's so interesting to want to come back.